A Coloradan who spent more than 27 years in prison for the death of a baby insists he was pressured by a detective into a false confession, and that was key to Stephen Martinez's murder conviction and life sentence. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Kyle Clark.
And I'm Kim Christensen. Last week, a judge vacated his conviction and sentence, and he left prison a free man. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates found that Martinez and the mother of the baby who died both feel like they were let down by the criminal justice system.
Heather Mates was 4 months old the day paramedics rushed her to the hospital.
That is an image that I'll never, ever get out of my head.
That morning, Kim Estrada left Heather with her housemate, Stephen Martinez. Within 24 hours, Heather would be dead and Martinez would be in jail, accused of murder. One damning piece of evidence was a statement Martinez made to police that he'd violently shaken a crying Heather in frustration and hit her head on a crib. Today, Martinez said that wasn't true.
You know, the detectives started saying, well, you know, if you know, you say this instead of that, you know, you don't necessarily have to go to prison. So he was basically kind of directing me on what to say, and I definitely didn't want to go to prison.
Martinez did go to prison for life before a judge vacated his conviction and sentence. Still, Denver District Attorney John Walsh stopped short of saying Martinez was wrongly convicted.
I'm innocent. I did 27 and a half years that I should have never done. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I mean, there's 5 medical expert reports that all say the same thing.
Court documents show those experts concluded Heather died of respiratory disease, noting she needed oxygen and went into intensive care after her birth, and later had an upper respiratory infection, and that doctors who treated her the day she died and the coroner both concluded she had pulmonary disease. Estrada doesn't believe it.
Okay, pneumonia is not what killed her. They cannot guarantee me that pneumonia was going to take my daughter's life that day.
What she does believe is that Martinez is responsible for Heather's death.
He doesn't have to relive it. He gets to walk the streets and nobody will even know what happened. Nobody even know who he was at the time.
I would just like to say that I'm very sorry for her loss, their entire family's loss. But it was a tragedy on both sides, for her family and my family.
Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Martinez said today that his attorneys are planning to go to court to seek compensation for the time that he was locked up. If they're successful under state law, he could be eligible for nearly $2 million. To do that, he'll have to convince a judge or a jury that he is actually innocent.
There's a storm moving into the Denver metro area. Could end up being our biggest rain in more than 7 months. And some higher elevations are getting snow tonight. Snow. Look at that. Look at that, Kathy. It's snow.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, we're about to say hello to the month of May, and I think it'd be so fun to have a ski resort open in early May and then have pictures like this. We need the water in any form we can get it, but we're out of practice driving in the snow. So if you're headed to the mountains tomorrow, be aware, winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings are posted for over a foot of snow. So just make sure you know what you're doing when you head up there tomorrow. It's been a while. In Denver, pack the rain gear. We've got a chance of showers yet tonight. They'll dwindle off in the wee hours of the morning, and then a big push of moisture and cold air for tomorrow. Our current reading at 48, I don't even think we're going to get that number for a high temperature. I think we're going to be colder than that. It's going to be soggy and cloudy and wet, and many of you are seeing showers this hour south of Denver, Colorado Springs, out to Burlington and Lyman. We're seeing the foothill and mountain snow filling in, the Palmer Divide and Castle Rock areas, a few snowflakes flying around there as well, and it is possible that we'll see some of that moisture moving to Denver overnight. The best chance for that moderate to heavy shower activity will be tomorrow into early Friday, and these numbers are really amazing and will make a difference. So overnight, we'll dip into the 30s, but we are going to stay in the 40s for much of the day tomorrow with periods of moderate to heavy rain, and in the mountains, it's going to be snow, heavy, wet snow. Coming up, the timing and impact of that, plus a look ahead at a weekend forecast I think you'll like. We'll have that in just a bit.
A guy fresh out of jail is headed right back after an early morning joyride through Boulder County. Police say they originally arrested Richmond Johnson yesterday for trespassing. 33-year-old was booked into the Boulder County Jail released early this morning. And police say while Boulder fire crews were there at the jail responding to a call, Johnson, who'd just been freed, got into their fire engine and drove it away. That led to a police chase that ended in Longmont. Officers used stop sticks at First and Main. Fire truck crashed.
Parts all over the floor, all over the ground. That's kind of a weird situation, an inmate stealing a fire truck. But yeah, that's something that you don't hear every day for sure.
So back in he goes. Johnson now faces several charges, including felony vehicle theft and reckless driving.
The Aurora police officer who was stabbed in the head is now out of the hospital. APD shared a picture of Officer Mark Moore today as he was released. They say he underwent several surgeries and nearly 2 weeks of rehab. He was seriously hurt while responding to a call nearly 3 weeks ago about a man experiencing a mental health crisis. Police say that man stabbed Moore and his canine before Moore shot and killed him. APD says the officer still has a long way to go in his recovery. They say his canine is okay.
A bipartisan bill that would have placed new restrictions on license plate tracking surveillance cameras in Colorado will not become law this year. The main sponsor, Democratic State Senator Judy Amabile of Boulder, said she pulled it because it didn't have enough support to pass. Reading between the lines here, that means that there were Democrats who were opposed, as Republicans alone don't have enough votes to stop anything at the Capitol. The bill would have required officers get a warrant to access license plate reading databases if more than 72 hours had passed since the alleged crime. Supporters argue this would help protect privacy. Opponents said that modern investigations need that modern technology. This is big. The governor had also signaled that he would veto the bill if it passed. Amabile says she plans to bring it back next year when Governor Polis will be out of office due to term limits.
Colorado is banning the sale of dogs and cats in pet stores.
The governor signed that legislation today. It's a move that supporters say will crack down on puppy mills. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez joins us now with some of the details on the expected impact. Colton?
Yeah, Kyle, all of this goes into effect on January 1st, but as for these pet shop owners, they're already starting to adjust tonight. For 12 years, Perfect Pets has operated out of the same location, selling puppies to families in Centennial.
This is 90% of my business. This is why people come here.
Soon, that won't be allowed.
Well, it puts us out of business. I mean, this is our niche. This is what we sell. We sell cute little tiny, adorable puppies.
On Wednesday, Democratic Governor Jared Polis signed the Pistol the Pomeranian Protection Act into law.
This bill will help that occur.
It prohibits pet stores from selling cats and dogs.
8 years of conversations, 8 years of setbacks, 8 years of being told not yet, not now, and maybe never.
The bill's sponsor, Majority Leader Monica Duran, says the law will stop the harmful overbreeding of dogs and cats in the puppy mill industry.
We face a lot of scrutiny, and I think it's very unjustified.
Store owner Jens Larson believes there is another way to accomplish that.
The places we deal with get inspected and licensed just like we do. So if you don't like the way they're licensed and inspected, then fix that.
The legislation will still allow pet stores to house dogs and cats that are available for adoption through local shelters.
Pet stores can still thrive, communities can still connect with animals.
But Larson is worried about the road ahead.
There's no way I can change my business model. Future for me is this store will be gone and I will no longer be in business, and 12 of my employees will have to find another job.
And as for Coloradans looking to add a furry friend to their family, soon they're going to have to go through a shelter or a licensed breeder to get that pet. Live outside the Capitol tonight, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
A developer with plans for the Asia Center strip mall on South Federal says they had no intention of hiding anything from the community. A representative came forward today after word got around town. We first told you about this last week. Asia Center Development LLC filed plans with the city to demolish the strip mall and replace it with a 4-story mixed-use building with affordable housing. That's not just a commercial property. It's a cultural home base for Denver's Vietnamese community. At a news conference today, a representative for the developer maintained the project is still in the early stages and said that's why they haven't discussed it with business owners yet.
Once the group has had more answers, then we'll definitely discuss what the future looks like. And that's going to be part of the input because we want all of these tenants to be able to be part of that future as well.
Councilwoman Flor Alvidra says they are planning a town hall soon, but did not give a specific date for that.
There are homes in Boulder that are listing for eye-popping rental prices ahead of the Sundance Film Festival. Certain short-term rental listings are going for nearly 10 times the normal usual nightly rate. That includes some homeowners asking as much as $100,000 for a 10-night stay. A property manager in Boulder told us while the high demand is expected, those prices may be unrealistic and could create false expectations for both renting homeowners and visitors.
I don't blame people for putting their place up for a lot of money, but I think it's distorting reality. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's okay for people to try to figure out, what is my home worth and how much can I get? That's really exciting. But I think there's also, we want to be careful that we're not being greedy, that we aren't, extracting every penny we could possibly extract out of something. Like, is that necessary?
With respect, sir, have you met America? Higher prices are expected during major events, but the experts say that striking a balance could, among other things, keep the city of Boulder competitive for future festivals looking for a location.